when you open Instagram, you see cute couple videos, and you open YouTube, you'll see some romantic dance happening there. You can
You can.
message us if you want.
Oh man, we'll
No, no.
decide whether we
I
have
think
to edit this part or not.
I
so.
Okay,
mean, we can
okay.
have lots of options to choose from.
I
I
would
have a
No,
have
my
message
Neha.
for that friend. I have a message
yeah, yeah.
for
Okay.
you.
Of
कि
course.
डरो
Yes,
मत,
yes.
ऐसे आराम से बात करो. It's not rocket science. It's very easy. True, you
Anyways.
should trust the
Hmm.
person. You should completely trust the person you're in a relationship with. If you don't trust that person, what's the point of being in a
Hmm.
relationship?
And why do you think the reason is people cheat despite spending so much time together?
So my only advice is that if you want to be in a casual relationship, be clear from the very beginning that yes, I want this.
So, friends, a very happy Valentine's Day to you all, and welcome back to a fresh episode of the Transformation Tapes. And today, on this auspicious day of Valentine's, we have brought you a special guest, that is Neha Lohia. And today's discussions are going to revolve around such interesting topics that are surely gonna arise your curiosity and are framed out in such a manner that you're surely gonna relate to them too.
This conversation revolves around the aspect of love and relationship. Along with that, we'll also be diving into what perspective our guest Nia holds towards it. Especially if you're single and looking for a partner, make sure to listen to what advice she'll be sharing with us.
So, Neha, welcome to the Transformation Tapes. The Ayush and I both welcome you here to our podcast series. So, how's your day been throughout?
Hi guys, thank you so much for inviting me. And yes, my day has been pretty great. I just came back from my internship. How are you doing?
All good, all good. Although not interning somewhere just like you, but yes, obviously eagerly looking to get some good internship, which obviously we aren't getting. But yes, had a great day ahead.
Surely you'll get it.
Yes, yes. Hi, Neha. That's very uh, gratifying thing for us to invite you as a guest. Anyways, for the audience who don't know, Neha is the president of one of the society held prize, and it's my honor to work under her. And it's been a great experience from being praised and scolded by her. It's really been a nice time. Anyways, so Neha, being a president of society, how has your experience been till now of it? How do you feel being a part of society and as a president?
It's been great, actually. I've transformed as a person from my first year till now. When I joined Heart Prize, honestly, I didn't know what Heart Prize exactly is. It was just popping out on my messages, and I was just getting a lot of messages that it is affiliated to UN, it is like connected with the United Nations. So I got interested in that. I joined Heart Prize, and I worked well there. So yes, then I became the president.
Yeah, it's been a really nice experience. Also, one thing I've noticed, I've observed that whenever we release those anonymous form in which we add a question, who do you find most attractive, most adorable? You see, most of the members are writing Neha, Neha. Everyone, every time we have released that form. So, how do you feel about that? Is it something that is common to you, or just that's the reality?
Uh, a very good question, I must say. I mean, yes, obviously, I feel good. Who doesn't feel good if they get some attention? So, yes, it's a great experience. And as you asked, am I used to it or is it something new? So, till now, I've been used to it. But yes, every
Schoolmate
time I get
experiences
a
in
compliment, it's a different feeling. Yes,
Yeah.
Sujit.
Anyway, to clarify, also,
schoolmate
I am not the
experiences
one of. Mhm.
हाँ इस
Sujit,
बोलो
were you saying something?
I was saying
Yes, yes.
स्कूल में ऐसे ऑलरेडी एक्सपीरियंसेस रहे होंगे पहले से और नॉट
स्कूल से ज्यादा तब कॉलेज में हो गए हैं बट
Anyways,
ठीक है अब क्या
just
कर
to
सकते हैं.
clarify, I am not the one of those who have filled anonymous form for the the name of Neha. I'm just clarifying.
तो तुमने
Anyways,
किसका नाम लिखा था यू टेल.
no, thankfully I haven't filled. अभी तक कोई नहीं भरा मैंने anonymous form. हमने नहीं भरा था ना हाँ. Anyways, so any plan for you for the coming Valentine Day?
No, I'm going for my internship only.
Okay, I think
Uh,
that's a very
and
career oriented.
my office is
Mm-hmm.
near Lodi Garden, so I'll probably go see some couples there. That's my only
Oh,
plan.
the garden.
There
Mm-hmm.
you get to see too many. Right? I've often visited there. So yes, this is something I would say that yes, I have experienced a lot. Yes, yes. So by the
Yes,
way,
yes, I
for
have
what
never.
profile are you
Mhm.
interning out there in Lodi Garden?
Um, what did you ask?
For what profile are you interning at Lodi Garden?
I'm a research intern, research and
Mhm.
communications.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
So
Anyways, talking about that, there's a story of one of my friend coming to my mind. He's a very good friend of mine. He lives nearby. So the thing was, he was in relationship for 4 to 5 years, and at the end,
Okay.
her partner cheated on him with one of his friends. And you know,
Hmm.
my friend literally got into a very kind of mental anxiety. Let's say he didn't was able to sleep. He used to cry, vomit, didn't eat food. I mean, that was a very troublesome experience for him. And also, you may have heard, let's say, about Bollywood stars and all. People, after spending decades together, let's say 20, 30 years, they are found being divorced. They are being found,
Hmm.
or let's say, we get a news they are being with someone else. So, what's your perspective on these things? How do you see this? And why do you think the reason is people cheat despite spending so much time together? So, what's your take on it?
Okay, so firstly, luckily I've never been cheated on till now, and I hope I never get cheated in the future as well. But as you said, I've seen a lot of friends who've been cheated on, and seeing those friends, I've learned a lot because
Mm-hmm.
I've also seen my friends getting into depression, anxiety, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you one story. So there was my friend. Uh, she was young back then, not in college, was in school only. She had a childhood crush. So they got into a relationship, and later the guy cheated on her with some other girl. So she was heartbroken. She didn't eat for days, and suicidal thoughts started coming to her mind. It was that deep. So, yes, people cheat. I don't know the reason because there are multiple reasons they
क्या
find someone
ऐसा हो
else.
सकता है कोई मान लो साथ में रह रहा है 20 साल 30 साल 30 इयर्स और एकदम से चीट मतलब क्या साइकोलॉजी हो सकती है वही चीज है और सफरिंग एट द एंड इज द वर्स्ट ऑफ अ काइंड फॉर दैट पर्सन एंड दे आर एंडलेस स्टोरीज ऑफ इट यस यस
True. I think that obviously cheating can't be defined. I mean, there is no specific reason. People might get bored of their partner, maybe, or they find someone else who's better, or they might not feel loved in their previous relationship. There are many reasons, so we can't define that. But yes, I really don't know. But after being cheated on, people really slip into depression and all
यस यस
these things. So
do you
it's
feel
very
that?
different, difficult. Yes.
So do you feel like what happens in today's Gen Z era, casual dating as we say it, right? Do you think do you think anyone should enter into any sort of casual dating in this era that we are living?
वी हैव ऐप एज वेल टिंडर आई डोंट नो द नेम बम्बल इफ आई एम नॉट
Bumble,
Have you
रॉन्ग
been
Bumble.
into
हाँ
Ha.
हाँ हाँ यस यस
Have you been into any such experiences? Yes.
Actually, no, I've never been into such experiences. But yes, I've seen people doing these things. I also downloaded Bumble for a day just to check what's happening. Then I uninstalled it. Not my thing. But yes, casual relationships. I mean, it's the personal choice of people. But what I think in today's generation, people are lacking commitment. They fear to commit. So
Exactly.
that's
That's the crux of it.
what the
Crux of any relationship from my point of view. Having commitment
true.
and
Everyone
very
fails
much
to give commitment. They want to explore. I don't know why, but okay, they're
so
having such sort of mentality. Like if you go into a store, you try on different clothes and you buy the which one suits you best. So I think they're doing the same thing with people right now. But
there was this one
this
thing
is
that
what's happening.
There was this one thing that I recently came across, and it said that there was a man. I maybe you must have heard of it or seen it. There was a man in a departmental store, and he was shooting his video. He said that never go to a departmental store when you are hungry, because at that time when you are hungry and you enter into a departmental store, you will buy anything. You will buy anything which can adversely impact your health, isn't it? And at the end, he says it is not actually about a departmental store, isn't it? Somehow that it was he was
True.
directly trying to connect it to relationships, right? When you are hungry
It,
towards, because you often see your college mates or maybe your schoolmates entering into relationships, and that becomes the precise reason why you also want to enter into a relationship, right? So you have that hunger to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and all those stuff, isn't it?
Mm,
So this precisely mentions that when you are actually hungry of having a relationship, at that time don't enter, because you will be at that time you will be entering the relationship by having that hunger in mind, but you will not be able to last it long. You will not be able to have that commitment as you just mentioned, right? Having that commitment वो काफी एक जरूरी एक crux होता है I think in our relationship. And another thing over and above that, communication in between, I think वो काफी लगता है. Although I haven't been into any relationship, I don't know why I'm giving all such guru typical advices, but yes, from my point of view, up till whatever I have seen others in colleges and school and all this stuff, yes, from my point of view, commitment and communication are the two basic pillars upon which every relationship stands, I reckon.
mm,
True. Observers are the best advisors. I think this.
Yes,
And I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. We shouldn't enter in a relationship just because we want a boyfriend or we want a girlfriend. I think the best time to enter a relationship is when you're completely content with yourself. You feel
yes, yes,
good by
absolutely.
yourself. Because
Mm,
if you're not feeling complete and you want another person to fill that void, I think at a
mhm,
point you'll become dependent on that person. So that's not a good thing. You should be happy by yourself. You shouldn't give that power to someone else that they are making you happy, or they are changing your mood and you feel what they want you to feel. So I think when you're content, when you're happy by
exactly.
yourself, uh, that's when you should enter into a relationship.
और आयुष के साथ मुझे अब काफ़ी टाइम हो गया मतलब एज़ एन फ्रेंड्स, तो मतलब हमारी भी कन्वर्सेशन चलती रहती है आयुष और मेरी, कि हाँ, मतलब रिलेशनशिप में है, गर्लफ्रेंड है, वो सब, वो सब। तो आयुष ने मतलब एक अच्छी बात कही थी कि भाई जब तक मैं अपने आप को खुद को प्यार नहीं कर सकता ना, आई थिंक मे बी उसे याद ना हो, until I love
True,
myself, I
true.
can't love any other person. So that was a very good thing that he said. And yes, काफ़ी कुछ सीखने को मिलता है यार मेरे को आयुष से भी, और ऐसा हमारा फ्रेंडशिप है wherein learning is at the top. So I think it's not just about friendships, but any relationship that you enter, it must be a good relationship wherein both the parties grow simultaneously. So that is
True.
the point.
I think it's very important to love yourself. Until you
mhm.
love yourself, you can't expect any other person to love you. It's
Exactly.
Absolutely,
conditional.
because
Your love for
yes,
yourself
yes.
is unconditional.
Mhm. If you're not content with yourself, na, I think you will be dependent on that person emotionally, mentally, and that person's
True,
action can really cause trouble to you. That's the cases with most of
true.
relationship. ज़्यादातर आप देखोगे ना कॉलेज वगैरह में, in this age particularly, that's a reality. If you're getting dependent, you will obviously have a higher chance of being suffered of that.
Now these
And
relationship
that,
talks are slowly moving up towards those philosophical ones. So
anyways,
this
do
happens
you
every
feel
time.
that nowadays these social media, movie, song, every day or every time you see a kind of romanticized version of these thing, of this aspect, like a person may think that literally it is something which is kind of a fulfilling thing. Let's say you are just watching reel, you are listening to any song, most of the songs are romantic obviously, you are seeing any movie which is obviously based on a hero and heroine. So do you think these kind of environment around us also has created a major impact on, let's say, younger generation like us?
True. I think it has because when you open Instagram, you see cute couple videos, and you open YouTube, you'll see some romantic dance happening there. So
Mhm,
obviously, maybe if you need a partner or you want a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you see such videos, your need and your want it grows, and you feel more lonely suddenly. And in college, you see a lot of friends being in relationships, so that
mhm,
also like that
has an impact
also
on you, like kind
motivates
of
you,
feel.
or kind of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you kind of feel lonely. So you also want to be in a relationship at that time. But I think you shouldn't be motivated by these things, because this is temporary,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. And if you enter into a relationship keeping these things in mind, you may regret it later.
Obviously. So you know what I think? I think as a mere biological being, we are bound to get attracted. I mean,
Yes.
casually, though, I have been attracted at times in the past, but let's say without any genuine intention. And at the same time, have received from the other sides as well. I mean, with all due respect to them, it's nothing I should be proud of and be bragging upon publicly. But still, to summarize, even I have absolutely zero experience of it. And since the past, I have, as per my observation, I've been very skeptical about these things, like the people watching their suffering, watching them crying, being in drama, anger, and all that. Like it feels like maybe if that's the reality with everyone, why should not I channelize my energy on things which I prioritize? That's my take.
True.
I mean, should you really think I should trust these opinions based on just of observation of things I've never been into?
See, everyone has a different experience. Probably you've seen people who've had bad experiences, but there are people out there who've had amazing experiences. So you can't really judge these things until you have been into one. So maybe your
Mm,
experience can be a good one. So can't comment really on that, but you should definitely choose a person wisely in this era of casual dating. I mean, it's okay to be in a casual relationship, but the thing is, the communication should be clear. If you're casually dating someone and you have that in mind that you're not committing to that person, so you should communicate that clearly to that person. That person should know that you are not willing to commit, because if that person is committed to you, that person might feel cheated later on. So you don't want to be a bad person in someone's life, right? So that's the
mm,
thing. And coming to your question, you asked that should you believe others' experiences or try it yourself? So, yes, definitely you should try yourself. You've got one life, live it yourself. So, yes.
So how much do you think how difficult it is to get that right fit person for yourself at the very first time? Because often people go through several heartbreaks and then they find the person who is actually the right fit for them in their life, right? Because
It
I've heard
depends
many.
on your luck. It
I
depends
think
on how lucky
mm,
you are, but several other factors, like you should choose wisely. You should not rush into things. You should
Yeah,
talk to
exactly.
that person, give that person
Now,
time. And yes, you were saying something.
no, you may complete your answer first of all, then I'll come to my question.
Okay, I was just saying that you shouldn't rush into things. You should completely know that person before moving ahead. So that's the basic thing. And you should know before committing that, yes, I can be with this person. This person is right for me. And I feel comfortable around this person. And basically, you shouldn't feel controlled in any way, or you're acting a certain way for that person, or acting a certain way to please that person. That shouldn't be your priority. Your priority should always be you. That's what I think.
that's great.
Now, this is something I think which is gonna attract most of the audience attention. 12th fail देखी आपने I hope.
Hmm. देखिए.
12th fail. So the way the relationship of Shraddha and Manoj was portrayed in that movie, I think it has affected too many people in today's date. The friends that I have in college, I don't know whether Ayush has seen it or not, but my other friends that I have in my college, they have been hardly affected by this relationship that has been portrayed in that movie. There was this one friend of mine, I won't quote his name. There was this one friend of mine. He said कि like यार आजकल की डेट में ना ऐसे लड़कियां मिलना मुश्किल है, ऐसे रिलेशनशिप मिलना मुश्किल है जो इतने लॉयल हो, जो इतने मतलब एंड तक रहे, इतना सपोर्ट करें आपको आपकी जर्नी में, वो सब तो ये सब इतना मुश्किल है। आजकल की डेट में क्या होता है कि लोग जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ कमिंग इनटू रिलेशनशिप में आते हैं और कैजुअल डेटिंग करके छोड़ के चले जाते हैं एज एन। तो कहता
True.
तो कहता मूवी काफी हाईली मतलब एम्बेलिश थी कि ऐसे ऐसे रिलेशनशिप अभी भी होते हैं, ऐसे ऐसे। खैर वो ऑब्वियसली फ्लैशबैक का टाइम था, लेकिन कहता कि आज की डेट में क्योंकि काफी स्टूडेंट्स अफेक्टेड हैं उस जिस तरह से रिलेशनशिप को दिखाया गया उस मूवी में। तो कहता कि आज की डेट में ऐसा मिलना काफी मुश्किल है, isn't it? कि लोग चीट करते हैं और प्रॉपर राइट फिट मिलना मुश्किल है आपको। तो व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दैट मूवी, लाइक हाउ द वे द रिलेशनशिप हैड बीन पोर्ट्रेड आउट देयर?
आई थिंक इट्स अ
व्हाट डू
ग्रेट
यू थिंक?
मूवी। और आई थिंक इट्स अ ग्रेट मूवी। और लोग ऐसे मतलब पीपल आर सेइंग दैट श्रद्धा जैसी लड़कियां मिलना मुश्किल है, पर मनोज जैसे लड़के मिलने भी बहुत ही मुश्किल है। सो yes,
एग्जैक्टली।
be the Manoj, you'll get your Shraddha. But yes, a lot of people cheat during these times. People don't want to commit. It is difficult to find such pure, innocent relationships. But I think if you are honest, if you are true, and see in that movie, Manoj is not looking out for a relationship. Neither Shraddha is. So I think the best relationships happen when you least expect them. And think you should have no expectations or anything. Uh, you should just go with the flow, and eventually you'll find the right person.
अब यही
And
चीज आई थिंक आयुष ने भी मेंशन करी थी अभी रिसेंटली कि more than focusing upon others, you must focus upon yourself, right? Because in that
yeah,
movie, both those, whether it was Shraddha or Manoj, they were focusing upon themselves. They were moving into their path, whether it was about cracking UPSC examination or
yes,
whatever it was. And while they were moving on
yes,
to their path, they encountered each other out there only. And from there, the different story started. So yes,
true.
priority
They
is you
should be
I
and
a
think
companion.
mhm,
They
exactly.
shouldn't
I
be your
think
whole life. They should be a part of your life.
I think I have got a solution for that problem. Like you are having problem, let's say in committing a person or know actually how that person is. I think the solution is before actually making a commitment, you can decide to at least stay together, let's say for months, spend time together, or let's say having conversation together for months. I mean, let's say I call it as a trial phase. And in that phase, you'll actually get to know that person to the deepest. I think that's a very great solution before making, if you're being fearful of making commitment. I think you can just spend some time together for months, let's say. And if things doesn't work out, you can just go out your own way. And suffering will obviously be less, and you will also be remained as a friend. So I think I'll definitely try this way out if I were to be in the coming future. I think that's a trial phase is very good thing. That's a solution coming to my
I
mind.
have a question. I have a question. Have you lost
Mhm.
any of your friends?
Any of your friend?
Uh,
कैसे मतलब?
in the sense that you propose to them, you like them.
No, no,
Because
I
you said na ऐसे ऐसे वो friends भी रहेंगे तो there might be some experience or you've seen someone.
no, no, I haven't actually proposed anyone. I don't have any kind of experience or whatever we say about that. But yes, I think that's trial phase is a very good thing. मतलब बिफोर कमिटिंग आप टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हो कुछ महीनों तक, लेट्स से कमिटमेंट नहीं दे रहे बस।
Exactly.
हाँ, तो ये काफी सही सोल्यूशन है कि इसमें अगर थिंग्स डजंट वर्क आउट
Situationship.
यू कैन,
This is
हाँ जो भी कह
situationship.
लो, अच्छा होगा हाँ।
हाँ तो
तो या
ठीक है,
मतलब
आइडली थिंग्स शुड बी
हम्म
लाइक दिस ओनली। ऐसे थोड़ी ना किसी को तुम ऐसे मिलते ही कमिट कर दोगे। यस,
इफ
यू
यू आर
हैव टू
सीरियस,
टॉक टू देम।
बाकी शॉर्ट टर्म तो खैर ऑब्वियसली यू नो पीपल जस्ट हैविंग अ शॉर्ट टर्म, then there can be no restrictions obviously.
True. If you want a good relationship, what I feel is you should have talked to that person for at least 5 to 6 months to know that person completely. This is also less. You know something about someone every day. So, yes, you shouldn't rush into things if you want a good relationship with commitment. You can't find it in days. It takes time. It takes time to build trust and know that person.
Know
So,
that
yes,
person,
you're right.
know
Trial
the
phase
character of
would
that
be the
person.
wrong word, but yes, you should
Okay.
talk to that person.
Know the character of that person, know that person's priorities, values, perspective, and the way that person views life. I think
True.
that's a very good thing. Mm-hmm.
True. A person can fake themselves or pretend
Mm-hmm.
to be someone else in the initial phases only,
Mm-hmm.
but when you've been with them
Gradually with time.
through different phases in their happiness, sadness, struggles, or different times, then you know that person completely. And I think that's the right time to get into a relationship.
Now, what are the metrics that you use to judge a particular person, right? You said that 5-6 महीने एटलीस्ट टाइम स्पेंड करना चाहिए किसी के साथ, है ना? कि to know him or her
Hmm.
properly, and then you may enter into a relationship according to whatever situation is. So, by what perspective do
Okay.
you judge a person? For example, this is something that this guy must have, or maybe whatever it was, whatever it can be. You can just open up your mind properly. So that these are the qualities or these are the specific things that I look in a particular guy.
So there are not many, honestly, but the very basic ones which you must know, that the person should be loyal, not talking to too many girls, and
Yes,
other
yes. I think
things, you
mhm,
should be respectful. You were saying
mhm.
something?
There must be synergy, matching of the priorities, values, and perspective towards
True.
everything.
The
I
person
think
should
that's
be
very important.
ambitious. I
Mhm,
should not be their only priority. It shouldn't be like they're talking to me the whole day. I don't want that. I have my own life, you have yours. Please don't try to be दो जिसमें
mhm.
एक जान वो नहीं चाहिए
हाँ,
बिल्कुल भी
देखे
नहीं
हैं लोग
चाहिए.
खाने की फोटो भेजते हैं, देखा हो आपने कुछ भी है, क्या कर रहे हो
हाँ मतलब उनको उनको सब कुछ
हाँ
साथ
हाँ
में करना है. उनको दो जिस्म एक जान बन के रहना है. प्लीज मत रहो. नहीं चाहिए मुझे. बिल्कुल भी नहीं चाहिए.
you
I
know
think I
last time
love my space
Mhm,
very much. I love my space
mhm.
very much. I don't want someone to enter that time. And I love spending time with myself alone. That's the best time I
Yes,
have
yes.
during my day or anything. So I want that. So I don't
Mhm.
want someone to invade my personal space, to
Do you
be
think it's
there.
necessary for the
You
mindset
support
to
me.
be?
Yes, obviously it is important, but you can have minor differences. That's okay. You should be understanding this, obviously. So even if you have different mindsets, you should be ready to accept that, understand the other person. That's very, very important.
Because often what happens is whenever you, let's say, whenever you have feelings for some other person or whatever it may be, right? You often find that the other person has totally a different mindset as compared to what you carry,
True,
right? And maybe
true.
sometimes that creates a contrast between uh, both those parties, isn't it? And that proves to be an impediment between whether you can enter into a relationship or not. From my point of view, is it really necessary? That's what my main question was, isn't it? Because every time you cannot find both these things, there will be a trade-off often, right? The person you like or love,
Yes,
whatever it is, every time you may not find that the person has the same mindset as of yours, isn't it? You will have to face trade-off from my point of view. If you want to add something on it, obviously you can. That is, you will often face those trade-offs in life, right? You can't find everything in the same person. You can't love the same person at the same time. You can't have the find the same mindset in the same person at the same time, isn't it? You can't find all the sort of qualities in that particular person. So obviously there are some trade-offs, which is a part of acceptance of your life, from my point of view.
so yes, you're not dating yourself. So basically, there will be differences in mindset. You're dating someone else. So yes, and I'll tell you what happens with me usually when I start talking to someone. In the beginning, it's all great because in the starting, what I think is you tend to ignore all the flaws and things.
Mhm,
You find it very nice, butterflies in your stomach. It's all going great, but after a certain time, like say 1 month, 2 months,
5 to 6
you
months.
find some differences, mindset differences, what you were saying, or something you don't like about that person. If you're ready to accept that, if you're fine with that, if that's something that doesn't
mhm.
bother you too much, I think it's okay. If you can trade off, you use the word trade off. So yes, if you can trade off that, it's something you can go with. But this is what's been happening with me lately. uh, so
Think
yes,
yes,
I
yes.
talk to people and then I find out
Mhm.
something that I really don't like about them. Then the whole
That's really the
it is
part of the
very
solution. The solution I mentioned of being together for months, and if you don't feel like,
yes,
just make your way out. That's the that's a very
true.
good way. I think you're doing great in that sense. I mean, you're not committing into a false romanticized relationship. I think that's great.
I just try to know that person. I never commit to
Mhm,
anyone. I mean, I don't say that I like you or something. I just try to know that
mhm,
person as a friend, as a
mhm.
person. So yes.
Okay, so yeah, there was this one thing that I wanted to really ask you. Have you watched that movie, Thappad? Tapsi Pannu's movie.
Actually, I haven't watched the whole movie, but I know what the story is.
Obviously, you must be knowing the crux, right? What goes on behind this
Yes,
particular movie.
yes,
Obviously, his
yes.
husband slaps
I
right
do.
in front of a whole crowd.
Yes.
So, to obviously to provide a base to start this conversation, I'll give you just a bit of crux. What happens is, uh, because I've seen that movie, what happens is there was a get together in the house, and amongst such a whole crowd, because of some reason, Tapsi Pannu's husband slaps her in front of the whole crowd, isn't it?
Hmm.
And now that one slap, and that's why the movie obviously was named as Support, right? So because of that one slap, I think yes, she went on filing a divorce for her husband, against her husband, sorry, right? So she now this
Hmm.
is a bit transforming, a bit different perspective from what we have been discussing till now, isn't it? But somewhat related
Yes.
only, right? So yes, her husband slapped her, and in response to that, she filed a divorce case against him. Just for one slap, she filed a divorce case against him. What is your perspective towards this thing? Because I've asked many people this question, and everyone have different viewpoints towards it, right? Like for some said that yes, one slap conveys a lot. It conveys domestic violence, and Taapsee Pannu was right in filing a divorce against her husband. Some say that it was just a slap, isn't it? Every person has different perspective towards it. What perspective do you hold towards this certain scenario? That should
So I
she
think
have gone for a divorce, or maybe what she could have done, whatever it comes to your mind.
I think most of the girls you must have asked this question, their answer would have been that she did the right thing. Because I think respect is very important in a relationship. And we've seen relationships like pehle kya hota tha basically. Women just wanted to hold on to their relationships because of families. And I think what Tapsi did in that movie was very revolutionary. And if more and more women watch that film, I think it would be great because women should know to stand up for themselves and their priority should be themselves. So that movie was great in that sense. And talking about, she filed a divorce for just a slap. I mean, it was just a slap at that point of time, but he slapped her in front of a lot of people. It
Exactly, that's
harmed
the
her
point.
self respect. Yes,
Because
it
that's
harmed her self respect.
because that
And
slap.
in that movie, I think that guy also told her that you slapped me back by giving me divorce. But I think if she slapped her back, then what would be the difference between her and her husband? So I think people
Exactly.
should uh, really respect other person's boundaries. और अभी वो कौन सी मूवी आई है रणबीर कपूर की नाम एनिमल सो
Animal.
वी आर सीइंग मूवीज लाइक एनिमल तो
Hmm.
उनको बैलेंस करने के लिए मूवीज लाइक थप्पड़ आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट so yes, it's a
And that
great
one
movie,
slap,
and I'm completely in favor of that movie.
and that one slap doesn't just convey domestic violence. It conveys a lot of things. For example, the perspective that you hold
True.
towards your wife, right? How you choose
Yes.
to respect her, how you choose to hold her in front of such a big crowd. Because it wasn't that he slapped her within a certain room wherein they were they both only, isn't it? There was just a huge crowd against which he slapped her wife. So it wasn't just domestic violence that was conveyed through the slap. From my point of view, there were a lot many things, and those were the precise reasons
True,
I
it
feel
was
it was
social disrespect, and even if it was just a room, it was within a room, it was still wrong. Why would you slap your wife? I mean, she's not your child. I mean, even if it's a child, you shouldn't slap that person, but yes, you can't slap someone like this. This is wrong.
Yes,
And
yes.
if you can slap her once, you can slap her multiple times. So
I think
I
yes, that's
think
obviously a
they did the right
good thing.
thing.
Anyways, Neha, so how do you see that this aspect of insecurity? Because let's say if we are attached with someone, the insecurity is bound to
Hmm.
happen, and I think it's unavoidable. Do you think, let's say, suppose I have this phone, I am really attached to this phone. I feel a lot for this phone. Let's say, for example, I think about it. I often imagine about it. The moment I see this phone is being used by someone else, let's say for 5, 10 minutes, I'll obviously feel insecure. Where are you taking my phone? Obviously. So I think that's the same aspect when it's come to human beings. I think if you are bound to get attached with someone, insecurity is inevitable. So is there any solution for it, or it's the reality that you have to face with attachment, that insecurity will be there? Because lots of relationships are broken, I've heard and observed, due to this sense of insecurity.
The solution is very simple. It's trust and communication. And I think insecurities happen due to a lot of reasons. And specifically in relationships, I think what the reason of insecurities is you must be comparing yourself to someone else. So think your partner is talking to someone else and you feel that person is better than you in some way. So you might be comparing yourself to that person. So that may be the reason of your insecurity. And I think if you start feeling insecure about every other person that your partner is talking to you, that's your problem. You have to work on it, and this you have to face it. Basically, you have to accept that yes, that's not your person. You don't own that person. That person is going to talk to other people as well. So it's a reality. You can't be like that this
Hmm.
person stays with me, this person is only going to talk to me. That's not going to happen, that's not possible. So you have to work on yourself, not the other person. You shouldn't control the other person, you should control your emotions.
Mm. Obviously, since we are living in a society, as a human being, everyone is bound to have interaction with someone or the other. We can't say that,
Yes,
yes, we can't stop any person. And obviously, if someone stops, that is the problem of that person who's trying to stop. If he is feeling insecurity, he has to deal, obviously, with his own term.
true. You
Anyways.
should trust the
Mhm.
person, you should completely trust the person you're in a relationship with. If you don't trust that person, what's the point of being in a
Mhm.
relationship? You'll have a hard time in the whole relationship. So it will be
Do
easy for yourself only that if you
mhm.
give that person their freedom, it will be easy for you.
Yes, yes. Apart from insecurity, do you think these things matter? Like people, especially I talk about my male friends, like wearing fancy clothes, having a nice hairstyle, trying to showcase your physical appearance. People often go to the gym just for the sake of being having a good shape. I think me and Sujal go to the gym because we love to, but yes, there are people around there in like that manner, and people trying to have a filter DP, applying filters on their photo to look more and more good. Do you really think like these aspects matter a lot, or it's just the character of the person which is the main thing for
I
judging
think
any
it
person,
depends
let's say?
on you
Mhm.
what you want to do, but you shouldn't be doing these things to impress someone else. So there are people. Suppose I'm a girl and I want a guy who has muscles and all. So I'll find that person. I'll obviously date that person. But if there is a guy, he wants a girl who has long hairs, say, or something else, so he'll find that girl. But if I try to be that person to please that guy, it'll be difficult for me only. And for how long am I going to pretend? At the end, I'm going to come to my originality, and at that point, that person might leave me. So why enter into such things? Just be yourself. Think when you be yourself, you find the most genuine people. You find a person who's really interested in you, not the superficial things. So if you want a real connection, if you want a genuine committed relationship, you should be yourself. You should be your true
Mhm.
self. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to improve yourself in any way. You can't be like, I'm myself, I'll be like this only. You should try to improve yourself continuously. That's a gradual process, but you shouldn't try to be someone else. You shouldn't try to be a person that that person likes. You should be try to be a better version of yourself.
I think you may easily find few people who lack this aspect of integrity. Like they are being someone else. They are pretending to be someone else than they actually are. They're having a kind of shadow
True,
personality. Like let's say few of
true.
my male friend, obviously I won't name them, like you are shaking hand with them, they are smiling with you, but you can sense that inside they have some resentment against you, let's say, or they are just being disliked you in being their presence and all. I think this lack of integrity is obviously something which even makes me at a certain distance from a person. Obviously I'm not saying I dislike that person, but I naturally find some distance between me and
True,
that person. So that integrity aspect is often lacking in few people I see.
true. And you can sense these things, as you
Hmm.
said, while you're shaking your hand with someone. you know at that moment that this person is pretending, this is not real, and
थोड़ा पता चल
you
जाता है
know
कि हाँ,
these things.
कुछ है
हाँ,
जो ये छुपाना चाह रहा है और थोड़ा सेंस हो ही जाता है अगर आप ऑब्वियसली किसी से भी बात करोगे तो। जस्ट लाइक लुकिंग एट देयर फेस एंड आईज़ यू कैन ईज़िली प्रेडिक्ट।
true.
हुँ, हुँ।
हाँ, और पता लग जाता है तो don't ignore these things, especially when you're trying to enter a relationship. You find a person is very charming, very nice, and you are sensing something is not right. So don't ignore those red flags. ऐसे मत सोचो कि मैं तो इन red flags का सिंदूर बना लूंगी, नहीं नहीं बनेगा. तुम don't ignore those red flags. Keep
हुँ,
those
हुँ।
in mind and just think of all those things, that are you ready to accept it or not.
And no matter how many filters you apply on your original life, at certain point of time you will have to portray your real self, right? For example, if you have been
True.
not just into a relationship, even if you are in a normal friendship with, let's say, an opposite gender or whosoever it may be, right? If you are spending some a good number of time with that certain person, no matter how many filters you apply, you will have to portray your original self, isn't it? Because that is something you'll be bouncing back towards again and again. You'll be bouncing back towards your true self again and again. There's no point in putting all those filters in DP, even if that works. Let's say over social media, this is something that happens. Even in our previous episode that we had with Utkarsh, we discussed this specific point, right? Like how people embellish themselves over social media, be it LinkedIn, be it Instagram, and all those stuff, isn't it? That still works. But when you are meeting a certain person face to face, in person, right? Obviously, you can't take that for too long. You will have to bounce back to your original self, right? Who you truly are, and that is something which is the crux of any relationship. Now, relationship doesn't just mean a relationship between a boyfriend and a girlfriend. The relationship is between a mother and a son as well. It's between friends as well, isn't it? Ayush and I can say, are in a relationship, a friendly relationship. This is something. What else should I say? A friendly relationship. Because relationship is not just between a girlfriend or a boyfriend, right? A girl or a boy. It is something which is universal from my point of view, and that's the true ingenuity of what we term as relationship, isn't it? Because this is something that has been misunderstood in today's Gen Z era, right? From my point of view, right? So
You
now
हुँ,
I think it's time to move towards the most interesting segment of this episode, that is a rapid fire round. Now, this is something we haven't
Nice.
had. Yes. So this is something we haven't had with our previous guests. This is something we have implemented from this episode only, right? So
Thank you so
to give
much.
yes, so to
I would
give
love
you
to answer your question.
yeah, so to give you and our audience a bit crux of what is gonna happen, there will be a rapid fire round. There will be certain couple of questions, 6 to 7 questions, which both Ayush and I will be asking, and you will have to, as the name suggests, rapid fire. You will have to answer them quickly, and the total time duration will be 60 seconds. Within 60 seconds, we'll ask all our questions, and we'll try to wrap up it up. All right.
Okay, the
So
answer would be one word.
yes, yes, one word only। हुँ, हुँ।
the way in which you want to,
Okay.
very precise, because these are rapid fire rounds, very
Okay.
precise. You can prefer to answer it in a yes or no, and you can also prefer to not answer it. So that's totally up to you,
Okay.
right?
Okay, so let's start. Sujal, your question first.
Okay, so first I'll start with my question. So, if you could describe your whole college life with one emoji, what would it be?
Whole
Starting with some subtle,
emoji.
starting with some subtle questions at the very start. Gradually, we'll keep it catch the
This
pace.
emoji, thumbs up emoji. I think it has been great.
Okay, but what does that portray?
It has been
Great,
great.
okay।
I think
हुँ, हुँ।
some of my friends, they've had like worse experiences in college. They didn't find good people, and I think I find the best people in college. So it has been very great.
Okay, okay.
So Sujal, any other question or shall I start with mine?
Yeah, you may, man. And it is
Okay.
meant to be a rapid fire, so we need to catch up the pace. Going slow.
Mhm. Okay. What category of music does Neha Lohia prefer listening to?
Okay, recently I've started listening to old Bollywood songs, Lata Mangeshkar, Kishore Kumar. So I'm listening to these on loop.
Okay. Which food item Neha Lohia likes the most?
Pasta.
Pasta. Okay, that's great.
And I cook the
Food.
best pasta as well. मेरे घर कोई भी आता है तो उनको मैं पास्ता बना के जरूर खिलाती हूँ. And whenever I
Mm-hmm.
go to my friend's house, I cook pasta at their house also. So
Mm-hmm.
pasta is my favorite.
Okay. Neha Lohia's favorite movie.
Favorite movie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a favorite movie, but honestly, I don't have a favorite movie.
Okay. Uh, Last question from my side. Does Neha Lohia have a slight inclination towards someone? Yes or no?
Or you can
Obviously,
you can prefer not to answer it as well if you want to.
Oh, she has said yes, I think.
I
Oh,
mean,
let's.
obviously, why wouldn't I have? I'm a normal
Okay.
person. Every normal
Okay.
person
Mhm.
has inclination towards someone. Okay,
Okay,
next
so
question.
these were the rapid fire questions from my side. Anything, Sujal, you want to ask?
This was just last question revolving around my mind. Do you watch any sort of anime or stuff?
No, I don't. I started to watch Naruto,
Uh,
but I think it's
if you
commitment.
would
I
want to
can't commit to long series.
if you would want to swap your life with any one of the fictional characters, who would it be? Even if not a fictional character, even if a character from a Bollywood movie, would it be? Or what would it be?
So I think I wouldn't like to swap my life with anyone else, but one character I relate to a lot. I think the Best of Luck, Nikki. You have seen that show?
Ah,
Yes, yes.
I
बहुत
think
पुराना
my
था
I
वो.
watch it a
family is
lot.
like that only. My
I
family is like
बहुत
that
पुराना
only.
था. हाँ.
I relate a lot to that show. So I
I
think
watch it. I watch it now as well on Disney Hotstar. I watch a lot of episodes. I put it on repeat.
मैं भी
So
देखती हूँ.
it has been one of the
It's
favorite
my
shows
favorite show.
from my
Yes,
childhood. Yes, it was great. Yes.
I relate
Why?
to it a lot.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
obviously, anyone does. Anyone does.
I think that was the end of our rapid fire round. Now, let's talk from a different perspective. What are the adverse side, or let's say the downside, of being alone or being single, according to you? Let's say you feel
Downsides of being
loneliness,
single.
or you feel isolation, or let's say when you're being felt low, you're not having someone to just share or throw your feelings. Not throw, that may be the incorrect word. But what are the downside, according to you?
See, you only face these downsides when you don't have a good friend. Suppose you have a good friend and you can share your feelings with them as well. So you definitely don't need a partner to do all these things. And you only feel lonely when you're seeing other people. So I think that's the only downside. And honestly, what I think it's the best thing to be single. You have all your time by yourself. You can do your favorite things. Sometimes you might feel like I could have done this with someone else. You might see couples roaming around, holding hands in public. You also might want to do that. But it's okay, it's a temporary feeling. You can't enter into a relationship just by seeing these things. If you do so,
Mhm.
you might later, but you should enter into a relationship when you truly like a person, not by seeing the downside of being single.
There's also, I think your network is
Different for
lagging,
different
Neha, if
people.
I'm not wrong.
But personally, for me,
Okay,
Oh,
okay,
even
now
go,
you're
go.
just go on. Hmm.
what I was saying that personally, what I feel is being single is the best thing ever. You don't have to please someone else, or I think until you find a really good person whom you can be with, you should be single only. That's the best thing.
Don't you
I
think
think
all these
obviously,
things have been? Don't you think all these things
and
have been romanticized and embellished in today's date? That it is really necessary for you to get into a relationship, isn't it? People often say that yes, it is necessary for you to find someone with whom you can share your ideas, share thoughts that are going on in your mind, isn't it? It's not really necessary, right? As you just mentioned, you can share it with your friends
True,
as well.
you can share it with your parents, you can share it with your siblings, you can share it with your friends. Why do you need a partner only to do all these things? But
That's what it has been.
yes,
Huh? Social media has embellished all these things in such a manner that we have
true.
all been brainwashed.
Until
We have
you
all been brainwashed.
until you learn to live all by yourself and you learn to live alone, you can't be happy in any relationship as well, because there are points in a relationship that you have to be alone. You can't be that person all the time. There are times when you have to be alone all by yourself. That point will also come. You can't be dependent on that person for your happiness. So yes.
No,
Exactly.
there is also another aspect I have seen, I have observed. Let's say, let's talk about the people like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, if I'm not wrong. I also read his biography of
Mhm.
Steve Jobs. You know, I have observed that in these guys, they have literally achieved a lot. But it seems like they haven't resisted themselves in these things. Like if I talk about Steve Jobs, he was a kind of person who, let's say a word is coming to my mind, a kind of womanizer. And I remember in that book, I read that he used to join dance classes in his college just to be close with the girls. Yes, I think talking about these people, no, none of them have said that you have to be alone, you have to be in isolation just to grow. I think there is something different in that
True.
case. Elon Musk also, he have had a relationship as I've observed in short videos and all. And still, he used to work like a mad person and just achieved a lot. So I think also there's a different perspective of it. That
True.
despite being in, and it's
You
not that
don't have
he
to be alone. Yes. What
or
I'm
ऐसा
saying
नहीं है
is,
कि
you don't have to be
हम्म
alone. Basically, you have to, like, relationship is separate from your life. You should keep that separate. Do all your things, and naturally, if you're a guy, if you're a girl, you'll be attracted to other people. That's very not natural. That's very normal. And if you're not attracted to someone, that's something which is not normal. So yes, obviously, you'll be attracted to
हम्म
people. You control yourselves. Controlling or holding yourself would be more difficult. So keep these things aside, keep your life aside, do what you're doing. And this is also part of life, important part of life.
So that was a very good point that you stated, right? That if you are not attracted to someone, then that's a real problem, right? Because when we often
True.
हम्म
ask people, like, are you in a relationship? किसी को पसंद करता है, किसी से attracted है? तो जनरली यही जवाब आता है कि नहीं नहीं मैं तो नहीं हूँ, मैं क्यों
नहीं.
हूँगा? जनरली ये सब आता
True.
है. From the deep inside, they know that even they are attracted to the person, right? So if you are not attracted, that's a real problem. If you are attracted, then
True.
it's totally acceptable. That it's normal human nature, right? Everyone
I
feels
think
this.
we are three single people who have zero experience pretending to be an expert on this. I think Neha, your camera
Because we
is
have lived
stuck in between.
through the experiences of other people.
Yes, yes. The observation is obviously the great insightful thing. I think Neha, your camera is stuck in between, or is there some issue in my network? Sujal,
No, it works good.
I think this. Okay, okay. You may continue.
Okay, so that's what I was saying that हाँ ठीक है हमने दूसरों को देख के बहुत सीख लिया है. थ्योरी
Yes,
बहुत
yes.
हो
Exactly.
I
गई
mean,
है
I have.
प्रैक्टिकल भी
Mhm.
करेंगे.
I think
That's what happens, na?
you know. Mhm. I think that's what our viewpoint has been created by observing since the past. People being fighting each other, creating drama. कभी उसके साथ, like in school also you may have seen in among friends. कभी उसके साथ है, let's say आप देखो फिर 3-4 महीने बाद you will find that person with someone else. I think these things have created a certain viewpoint in our mind, and I think we must not trust much on these opinions until or unless we have experience in reality.
True.
So I believe.
True. So,
Mhm.
as you said that in school we've seen people, so I have a story for that to make things
Go on,
interesting.
go on.
So, I was in class 8th only. I had a friend and I had two other friends. One was a girl and two were guys. So, we all were friends. So, that girl dated the guy, and those two guys were best friends. Aman and give me a name. So, there are two
Oh, I
guys,
think
Aman or
you were stating
अतुल
the
और
real.
अमन ठीक है देर आर टू गाइज अमन और अतुल और एक लड़की है राधा एंड अमन अतुल बेस्ट फ्रेंड्स है तो राधा what she did she dated Aman then she broke up then she dated Atul then she broke up then she dated Aman again and those two guys are also fine with that
Okay.
so after a point it was happening that एक उनका switch होते जा रहा था that was very confusing to see but yes this has also happened this also happened in schools
What were you doing on the other side?
I
Observing.
was just watching them. I was just watching them,
No,
trying
so
to
you
figure
need
out
not,
what's happening.
okay, you need not give any you're not required to give any precise answer to this question. This was just a goofy duck question that I asked you. Yes, sir. It often happens. I've seen my friends entering into such relationships too, right? Yeah, not in college much, because right now the friends that I have in college, either they are already into a good committed relationship, or just like Ayush and me,
No,
we are totally
I
happy with
want
that.
to point out one aspect. एक चीज है जो शायद जानते नहीं होगे. You know, in a college, obviously you have may seen the ratio is very different. Like you have majority of the boys. I can say that many of my male friends, many of them don't even get a chance, or let's say they don't even know how to talk to an opposite gender. That's a reality. They don't even know,
True.
and they hardly get any time when they are interacting with an opposite gender. That's a reality with a lot of my friends in a college. One of my friend is, he has a very unique name. I won't say out his name. He is a very good friend of mine. He has been from a boys' hostel, and obviously he might be listening to this podcast. And in the college also, he don't know how to talk to a girl, and he has joined the society, Delta Society. He has joined just for the sake of being in interaction with them. Like they don't even
So
know, and
yes.
that's a story with most of the
Hmm.
person, most of the guy friend I have. That's a reality. I mean, these aspects may not be aware. People might not be aware of these aspects, especially you. I mean, the people like you, but still, that is a kind of problem for them, and they feel sad about it often.
Actually, I'm aware of these things also. Friends who are like this only. And yes, there are some guys like who come from boys school, then they come to college and they struggle to talk with girls. पर मुझे लगता है कि वो ऐसा सोचते हैं कि इनसे पता नहीं कैसे ही बात करते होंगे उन्होंने पहली बार लड़कियां देखी है उनको पता ही नहीं है कैसे बात करनी है
पहली बार
they
लड़के
think
देखे.
they're from some other planet इनसे बहुत अच्छे से बहुत आराम से बात करनी पड़ेगी but it's not rocket science. You just talk normally to a girl, how you talk to a guy. Just be respectful. That's it. Don't think too much. If you think too much, you'll not able to ever. So yes, it's very simple. Don't complicate it. That's what I want to say.
It is the same story on the flip side. For example,
No.
in most of the scenarios, I have just seen a guy being hesitant to speak to a girl, right? But is it the same story on the flip side? Or rather, have
No.
you ever faced any hesitation in feeling in talking to some guy in the college or maybe school, whatever it is?
See, I've
Because I
always
don't
been
think
in a
girls.
co-ed environment. Okay,
Huh?
so I've been in a co-ed school. I've also
It's a very nice ringtone, to be very honest. Okay, continue.
Thank you so much. So I was saying that I've always been in a co-ed environment. I've had guy friends, I've had female friends, और मैंने कभी भी अपने friends को ऐसे नहीं देखा that this is a guy friend, this is a female friend. They all are just friends. But there are some people that they enter into college, they have not been into a co-ed environment. They have seen just guys or just girls. So they might struggle to talk to the opposite gender, but I've mostly seen this in guys. I've not seen girls to struggle because
That's what I'm saying.
the thing is क्योंकि लड़के ही हमेशा सामने से आके बात करते हैं so what girls have to do is they have to just reply only, so that's not a difficult task. So yes.
Yeah, I think that's a hidden reality. Those friends of mine must realize. Mhm.
Any message Ayush you would
Yes.
want to give to that friend of yours?
So that friend of mine, I think you know that friend. I'm not
Yeah,
taking his
yeah,
name. He has a very unique name. Anyways, I think advice I
I
would
have a
yeah.
have,
Bye.
I
message
have.
for that friend. I have a message
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Okay.
him. कि
Of course.
डरो
Yes,
मत
yes.
ऐसे आराम से बात करो इट्स नॉट रॉकेट साइंस इट्स वेरी इजी और जिससे भी बात करनी है गो फॉर इट आज ही बात करो
No,
इट्स अ साइन
he's
टू
from
टॉक टू
Haryana.
हर
He's from Haryana, so there's a slightly different cultural background. So I think
सारी हिंट्स
he'll,
दे दी सब पहचान जाएंगे
Ah,
I think
bhai, bhai. His name is the
he'll
really.
get an
He's from
answer of me.
Haryana. He's from this. He's from this.
और भी कुछ
और फिर
बता दे
नाम नहीं
और
बता
भी
रहा.
कुछ बता दे
No, I think
और
that
फिर
is
नाम
enough.
नहीं बता रहा.
Hmm. I think that is enough. Any advice you would like to give to a junior, let's say, or obviously lots of our seniors, batchmate and junior have joined this conversation just by looking at the name of the title. So any advice you would like to give to them or the person who haven't been into relationship? What what will you say to them?
So my only advice is that if you want to be in a casual relationship, be clear from the very beginning that yes, I want this, and be true about that thing to the other person as well. And if you want a commitment, if you want a committed relationship, be clear about that as well. And if you're struggling to talk to someone, mm, don't hesitate.
Yes.
It's not rocket science. Yes, it's very easy. It's just you have to make the first move. I think that's the most difficult part, making the first move. But it doesn't hurt. So you can do it.
But
ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या ही होगा, ignore हो जाओगे, कोई बात नहीं. Just go for it.
but it's still easier said than done, right?
True. ख़याली पुलाव
Like,
बनाने से तो better ही है. और अगर reject हो भी गए तो it would be easier for you to move on ना. You can talk to other person.
fear of
Yes, yes.
fear of regret is more than fear of rejection.
Fear of yes, fear of rejection. That is
Yes.
very big one.
Anyways, if I have to say anything to a junior or let's say a batchmate listening to this, I will just
Mhm.
say that first of all, try to be content with yourself, as you mentioned. Try to be that person who can smile while being walking alone, let's say. In isolation, he can live perfectly. And if you try, if
True.
you become that person, only then you are capable of being taking certain responsibility or not responsibility. Obviously, we are all grown up, but making someone out, giving a space to someone in your life. I think then you'll only be capable if you're content with yourself and also value that person, uh, have your own space as you also mentioned, and respect that person's opinion and viewpoint. You are not the one who can control
Yes.
that person. That person has an own life. You have your own life journey. You are born alone and you will die alone. Maybe I'm going a bit philosophical.
Yes.
I think your life is as an individual, you have your own life. You just make relationship with endless number of people. And also one thing I would like to point out, that don't focus on relationship, making a relationship with one person only. Have a relationship with every person in a wonderful manner, be it your friends, your family, your whatever. Just be a very nice person and just go on, live your life and focus on yourself and just love everyone. That's it, I would say.
Now, as
True.
Ayush and
Relationship
Neha,
is your end goal.
go on,
Yes,
go on.
Sujal. Go on.
Mm,
Now, as Ayush and Neha has given their own opinion about like
mhm,
how life should go on for juniors and all this. My perspective now, if I were also to give one opinion to, or rather one advice to junior or senior or whosoever is watching, I would say that just live your life how it is going, because at certain point in stage in future when we reach, as we reflect back upon our past, we see those dots connecting, right? I heard this somewhere, right? As we go in future and as we reflect back upon our past, we see that everything that happened in our life happened for some purpose. And as you go into future, you will see those dots connecting. You will realize the importance and value of every moment that happened in your life, be it today or be it at any point in time. So just go with what happens. Just try to experience almost everything that comes to your
Sujal,
way.
one thing I would say that if you were to choose any partner, make sure she goes to the gym because if she not, she won't be able to relate with half of the things that revolve in your head. So
So that's
make
not
sure that
necessary, man.
no,
That's
she won't be able to
for
relate.
me,
These are the half of the things that just revolve in your head. Anyway, I
and
think
she need not. She need not.
So,
She doesn't
okay.
require
I
to
so
think
relate.
when Ayush said, that be in a relationship when you're ready to give that space to someone else in your life. I
mm,
related to that because I think why I am not in a relationship because I'm happy by myself and when I'm walking alone. So
being in
when there are
isolation.
no people around, I'm listening to music,
Mm,
I'm dancing alone. So
yes,
I
yes,
love
that's
being
it.
myself. I
Mm,
love being all by myself. I love being alone,
mhm.
and I don't think that I'm ready to give that time to someone else. So
I think I have
I
heard
haven't
this thing.
found that person.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
You grow best in your isolation. I was just listening to a podcast of Nikhil Kamath. He's a founder of Zerodha. He said this thing.
Mhm.
You grow at your best when you're in isolation. I think still, if you are having a person trying to being a person, make sure that you and she, I mean, you both have the same values, same priorities, and you both are content with your life. Not that someone is feeling unfulfilled and he or she has just entered in your life just for the sake of fulfillment. Make sure that you are a complete person in yourself. So that was it from my side. Sujal, any else advice you want to
Now,
give?
no, arey yaar, I'm not a sort of guru that I will give advice to any person.
Yes, yes.
But
We
I
we
would
have
like
zero
to,
experience. We are just
I
throwing
would,
our opinions and observation till
and this
now.
is something, and this is what people like the most. No one needs to hear any sort of philosophical thing that you must do this. Everyone wants to listen to what goes on the inside. What are the secrets? And there's one thing that I would
Masala.
like. Yes, there is one thing that I would like to recall that at the very start of the podcast, uh, to tell to our audience, Neha said that don't keep this podcast too long, 1 hour long podcast. But now we don't even
Yes.
realize that we have gone beyond that 1 hour timestamp, right? So this is the speciality that we have here at the transformation tape, right? Whatever guest we invite, we just give our natural out, isn't it? Whatever goes on in our mind, we just open up, and our conversation just goes up this long, isn't it? A 1 hour long conversation. So we don't have to restrict ourselves to keep it a half an hour long conversation or 40 minutes long conversation. It's when your natural stuff comes out, when whatever is going on naturally within your head comes out, then even a 1 hour long conversation is less, isn't it? You can have that conversation
True.
all day long, isn't it? But our viewers have their own stuff to do as well. So we'll have to end it here itself.
I think that was
So
a beautiful conversation. I didn't
before ending,
expect that we might be having this kind of conversation. It was really great experience talking to you, Neha.
True.
The way you have shared your own views, your own perspective, that was good. I mean, commendable.
Neha, is there anything that you would like to say
Okay,
to our
then.
audience or say to us, whatever it is?
Yes, yes. Hmm.
First of all, I would say thank you so much for inviting me. I mean, I haven't talked to Ayush that much. I know Ayush from Halt Price, and I didn't know that we'll be talking on relationships directly. So it was a great conversation. And you guys are really doing a great job. I hope you get lots of followers. So, yes, all the best.
Okay, thank you, Neha, for all the single listeners who have been listening to us till now. Thank you for joining. I think you must have got a certain perspective on these things, and it was really nice having you, Neha, as a guest. And it's
And if
our
you are, and if you all are listening to this episode on the 14th of Feb on the Valentine, that you are then so you are for sure a single guy or single girl because otherwise you wouldn't have had time to
True.
listen to this podcast, right?
Why would you? So, you also know that Ayush is single, Sujal is single, I'm also single. You can message
experience.
us if you want.
Oh man, we'll
No,
decide
no.
whether we
I
have
think
to edit this part or not. We'll
no, no,
decide
no.
whether we have.
And there's no need to edit it, right? It is a good point to end on.
I
So,
Okay,
mean, we can
okay,
have lots of options to choose from.
so if
okay.
we were
We
to
have a lot
talk
of options. Hmm.
now, if we were to talk, it will end into a 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hour long conversation.
I
So with
think
that
it
said,
doesn't feel like stopping the conversation. Yes, yes. Continue.
that's it. I would like to say a big thanks to Neha for joining us here at the Transformation Tapes and also to the audience who actually stick with us till the end. So thank you to our audience and we'll be soon back with another such episode.